with it explained why a former WWE star was held back in the company and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Reacting to Ric Flair revealing that he had a heart attack during his final match, Dutch Mantel said this on his Storytime podcast. He could have very well died in that match, but then I got to thinking, where else would he want to be if he died? I think he'd want to be in the wrestling ring with people around, and so he'd still be the center of attention after death, so I don't know. The Nature Boy replied on X, writing, Dutch, I'm so happy to admit that I agree with every comment you made about me. I was lucky to not die of a heart attack in the ring during my last match. But you're right, I do want to die in the limelight. I've been in it since I was 15 years old. I'm 75 years old now, still in the limelight and still the main event. Jessel Popot MD was the doctor who diagnosed me with the heart attack. Most credible heart surgeon in Tampa. For your information, it's a being the star. Dutch Mantel then said, Rick, glad you agree with me, but if you want to die in a ring, then so be it. Free will, free country. So you'll be assured that you'll die the star, although in many fans' eyes, a very stupid one. Thanks for the pub, stay out of pizza joint. More on my podcast. Of course, Flair has recently been kicked out of a pizza joint after being cut off from alcohol and being belligerent in the restaurant following that. After being beaten down and bloodied on AEW Dynamite, Will Ospreay sent a message to his opponent at Double or Nothing, International Champion Roderick Strong, saying this in an AEW digital exclusive. You think I look pretty bad right now, right? No, this is nothing. Mate, I've been on a 4-day bender, had a bowl of Cocoa Puffs, got on a plane to Japan, called out the toughest guy, and whooped him in front of his wife and kids while I was smiling, bruv. You think this is the end, Messiah? What, you think that this scares me? Nah, I live for this, bruv. I flew all the way from England on a 10-hour flight, got transferred over to Bakersfield, and this is the best that you've got, my Messiah. Am I meant to believe in you, man? Am I meant to believe? No, man. The only thing that I believe in is bell to bell, internationally known. No one is better than me inside that ring, and now what you've just done, Roderick, what you've just done is it's bonded me with that championship. My blood is on that championship. So now it is my duty, it is my spirit that is bonded with that championship. So Sunday, in the perfect city to do it in, bet it all. Gamble your life on it, son, because now it is my life's mission to take the international championship away from you, come hell or high water. Nobody is better than Will Ospreay because I am on another level. Giving credit to his father for getting him into WWE, Randy Orton said this to WrestleBinge. He, Bob Orton Jr., got me in, and it's because of his hard work and all those sacrifices and all that time away from home that I'm here. So, if anything, thank you, Dad, for everything that you did throughout the years. You got me right in that door, man. I know a lot of guys that have that hustle, that have had to find their own way into the business. I don't know that I have that hustle, just being honest, so I don't know that I would have found my way into the ring without you, so I'm very lucky to have you, Grandpa, Uncle Barry. Yeah, thank you. During that same interview, Randy Orton said this about his WWE comeback. I had top neurologists telling me, you know what, you had a great career, you have a life after wrestling, and you want to be comfortable. You don't want to be in pain the rest of your life. We're going to fix your back, but you're going to have to stop wrestling. The first 6 months that I was out, I had that in the back of my head, and it was tough. It was mentally very challenging. He also mentioned this in regards to storytelling in pro wrestling. That's what we do. We're storytellers, right? And we can tell a story with any story a lot of times, not because you came up with it the night before the match, or while you were talking about spots, but it happens organically in the middle of that ring, and you can't call that in the back. You have to listen to the crowd and gauge how they're feeling, what they want to see, what they might not want to see, tease them, and know how to sell accordingly. I learned that from my old man. Criticizing Bayley's promo skills, former WWE writer Vince Russo noted on his podcast, "When I put on Raw, I am just seeing a lot of people who I feel do not belong. Bro, when you watch a Bayley promo, she should not be at that level after 10 years. And if you are not cutting a believable promo in 10 years, and it sounds like a wrestling promo, you are not good at what you do, and you probably shouldn't be doing it. And there are at least 50 Baileys running around the WWE right now." Naming an NXT star that she would like to face once more, Natayla said this on WWE's The Bump. "Roxanne Perez is amazing. She's actually trained with me in the dungeon. I enjoyed training with her and getting to compete against her. I think she's so talented. I can't wait to wrestle Roxanne again soon, and I think down the road I wouldn't even mind main eventing WrestleMania with Roxanne. I mean, I have big dreams too, but she's so talented and she truly is a student of the game. She loves this. She loves WWE. She has loved wrestling since she was a little girl." Talking about getting emotional during his pro wrestling career, Eddie Kingston told AEW Meal in a match, "The last time I cried was when I beat Kenta for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship in Korakuen Hall. When I first broke in, I didn't want to wrestle in America. I wanted to do it in Japan because to me the Japanese professional wrestling style fits me better. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it fits me better. So being able to do it after 22 years of struggling and making a lot of mistakes and a lot of enemies, it just broke me down emotionally because I couldn't believe it that this was actually real. That freaks me out." That's the other deep part too, is that when I do reflect, a lot of times it's by myself in the hotel room after the show or after a moment. Sometimes I break down because sometimes I feel like I don't deserve it. That's one of my curses that I have. It's such a weird thing that it's actually happening. Before AEW, I was selling my wrestling stuff to be able to pay my mortgage. At the time, I was like, this is it. It's over. I talked a little on Cody and they just picked up from there, and it's been a whirlwind. But like I said, when I do reflect, I'm happy, but I still doubt myself and I still am insecure about certain things. So then I just kind of sit there and go, do I really deserve this? I don't like the compliments. I don't like people telling me I'm an inspiration and stuff like that, because it's weird because I'm just me. I'm me 24 hours a day. Recalling his time spent in All Elite Wrestling, former star for the company Frankie Kazarian said this too busted open. "Not for nothing, that launch of AEW was one of the most exciting things to happen to pro wrestling in a while, because it was the first new, viable, big budget, big business company, and I was part of that, almost the same way I was a part of the early days of TNA. But this was even different because the landscape of the business had changed so much so that whole first year, the whole on sale date, the announcement in Jacksonville, the press conference in Vegas, the first Double or Nothing, all of that was excitement because it was new and it was fresh and it was like, wow, the possibilities are out there, and that was all very positive and stuff I still look back on fondly. The negative stuff, just ultimately the lack of leadership, inmates running the asylum in a way, no real direction. I think there's also, at least when I was there, so there were stories that were presented, we'll do this, and this, okay, but after that, what are you gonna do? That was always a problem. It was always, oh, I have a story for 3 weeks, then what? That's why I think angles are dropped so quickly and everything, and I just ultimately think, a lack of leadership is, in this business, you need that guy with the pencil where the buck stops, and I don't necessarily think that's the case there. Touching on opponents that he nearly squared off against in the ring, Blue Kane told Cultaholic Wrestling, well, there was Ryback. He was one. Ryback said that he would wrestle me for $25,000, and I quote tweeted and said I'd wrestle him for $250. I'm much cheaper. To be fair, Ryback did send me a few kind messages. I've heard indirectly from some friends in WWE that quite a lot of people are like, oh my god, I love Blue Kane. I'm like, people in WWE like Blue Kane, even if people in WWE legal don't. During AEW Dynamite, Malakai Black would have a red substance dropped on him in the ring as a user uploaded this clip to X. Giving details on the merging of WWE and UFC live events groups, TKO sent out this release. TKO merges UFC and WWE live events groups. Combined unit produces hundreds of live events year-round, featuring two of the world's most iconic sports and entertainment properties. TKO Group Holdings Incorporated, a premium sports and entertainment company, today announced that it has integrated the UFC and WWE live events teams into one unit, creating one of the strongest live events portfolios in all of sports and entertainment. The integrated unit, the TKO Live Event Strategy Team, will drive revenue growth strategies across key areas, including live event development and scheduling, tourism incentive programs, ticketing, and fan experiences. This new structure aligns with TKO's efforts to leverage the power and expertise of both UFC and WWE to maximize event revenue potential and pursue growth opportunities and cost synergies. Peter Dropick, who has played an important role in driving UFC's industry-leading live event success for nearly 2 decades and who is a pivotal member of the senior executive team that has led UFC to 5 consecutive years of record revenue, has been elevated to lead the integrated unit as Executive Vice President, Event Development and Operations for TKO. Dropick will work closely with UFC, WWE, and TKO leadership, including UFC President and CEO Dana White, WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Levesque, UFC COO Lawrence Epstein, WWE President Nick Khan, and TKO CFO Andrew Schleimer to leverage the massive global popularity of UFC and WWE and continue to grow the TKO live events business domestically and internationally. Demand for live sports and entertainment has never been stronger, and we believe our portfolio of events will continue to drive the growth of our business, said Andrew Schleimer, Chief Financial Officer of TKO. The newly integrated TKO Live Event Strategy Team will focus on creating operational efficiencies and developing strategies to leverage the broader economic benefits we bring to host cities, including partnering with local governments and maximizing revenue opportunities from site fees. In Q1 of 2024, UFC and WWE each set numerous live event attendance and revenue records, helping to fuel TKO's strong start for the year. UFC sold out all 5 events with live attendances, including UFC 297 in Toronto, UFC's highest grossing arena event in Canada, UFC 298 in Anaheim, the highest grossing MMA event ever in California, and UFC 299 in Miami, setting the arena record and ranking among the highest grossing UFC events of all time. WWE's premium live events in the quarter, Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, delivered record gross gate revenue. Royal Rumble broke the all-time attendance record for Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, and Elimination Chamber in Perth brought out more than 52,000 fans to mark WWE's first Australia event since 2018 as part of an agreement with Tourism Western Australia. In total, WWE events in Q1 set 54 individual market records for both gross and paid tickets across all event types, including 17 consecutive sellouts for televised events. Following the quarter's close, the momentum continued in April as WrestleMania 40 drew its largest ever viewership and set a WWE Gate record with 145,000 fans over 2 days at Philadelphia's Lincoln Financial Field. The next weekend, UFC 300 became one of the highest grossing events in UFC history, recording a gate of $16.5 million and setting a UFC attendance record at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas with 20,067 fans. Speaking about picking members for a modern-day nation of domination, Mark Henry said this at KNS WrestleFest. So easy to pick a new nation of domination. Number 1 draft pick, Powerhouse Hobbs. And the number 2, Omos. And then I would go Carmelo Hayes, and as much as I love Trick Williams, I think that Trick he's too liked. I want people that people don't like. I want Bobby Lashley. I want people that you just don't like them. And there's a lot of young guys that I think could hold up, but my wild card would probably be Velveteen Dream, would be Patrick Clark. I think it's time for a second chance. A lot of people in the world of wrestling love the talent. We're in a cancel culture that is justified as so. We need a cancel culture, but at some point, you got to have grace and forgiveness, and you got to see if that person is going to bury themselves again, because habitual line steppers, that's exactly who they are. Once they get that second chance and they're out, I ain't co-signing for you no more, but everybody needs their second chance. I think that would be my new nation. Looked great too at the convention I was at. I saw him. A lot of people didn't want to touch that, and you know, I don't get into the guilt or innocence, even though from what I'm understanding, there was a lot of confusion and judgment about male sexuality, which I'm not a politician. I'm not going to cast judgment one way or the other, but I do realize I've been lied on before, so I know what it feels like to not be able to defend yourself in the court of public opinion, and at some point, you got to say, you know what, whatever happened, happened, but I need to make a living and I need another chance, and I'm begging the fans for a chance. That's what I would do. I would throw myself on the mercy of the fans and say, give me another shot. Taking to Ex-AEW, commentator Jim Ross gave an update on his health, writing, unexpected trip to the emergency room in Norman this morning, shortness of the breath, that's all for now. Responding to a man leveling accusations against Prime, Logan Paul said this in a response on Instagram.
Parents, listen, this is scarier. Your kid's drinking this 3 times the level of forever chemicals, PFAs, found in this.
All right, let's talk about it. After I corrected the TikTok lawyer with facts debunking this crap, I never thought I'd have to do the same to a carrot-colored Instagram doctor. You'd think after this guy already got sentenced to 16 years of probation for stealing $1.4 million from his adopted children's trust fund, true story, he'd stop lying for his financial benefit. And I guess it doesn't surprise me that he calls himself a doctor when he's really just a chiropractor whose license has been suspended and is currently considered expired and on probation. So look, obviously we sent this guy cease and desist. I got him to like half apologize, but in the same video, he just doubled down on his bullshit.
Logan Paul from Prime Hydration and Energy Drinks sent me this cease and desist. He was not happy about this video. However, Logan, I do apologize.
He's even getting called out and corrected in his own comment section for spreading misinformation, but now I gotta come on here and expose the guy because he can't tell the difference between a can of Prime Energy and a bottle of Prime Hydration.
But Logan, don't shoot the messenger. I was just bringing the message.
Hey, don't worry, bro. I'm not gonna shoot you. But Prime is considering suing you for the millions of dollars of damage you caused and make you file for bankruptcy a second time. Buddy, you don't know a single thing about what you're claiming, but if I ever want to overdose on self-tanner or get my back cracked, I'm coming straight to you. So look, send the video, share the video. Mom, send it out because we don't want our kids being influenced by an Instagram chiropractor who stole $1.4 million from his own children.
As Cameron Grimes reacted negatively to the news of Sexy Red being set for an NXT appearance next week, more information was provided on this, with Steve Carrier of Ringside News writing on X. Cameron Grimes' reaction to Sexy Red's appearance at next week's NXT show was a hot topic among wrestling fans. When speaking to a WWE writer, it was revealed to Ringside News that Grimes' jealousy and tendency to complain impeded his progress during his time in WWE. This is the behavior that held him back in WWE. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.